I will be presenting my senior project. This has been months in the making, since probably fall term I've started. And I've been writing songs based on Ovid's Metamorphoses. With the help of Miss Magistra Morris, I've been able to select songs that have a lot of emotional depth and what Catullus would call omne aevum, of all the ages of emotions and behaviors that are not just with us, but also all of us. And in that way, I think we can all connect to these ancient figures, even if we aren't studying classics. And that's something that's been really special to me and really important to my time at Exeter. I didn't even think of taking Latin until my mom told me, told me that it would probably be a good idea. And I'm so happy I did. It's the best choice I made. It brought me community in so many ways. So I'll talk through a bit of the songs right before I play them. I think it's interesting to hear about how I selected them and what qualities of the song I tried to highlight with these adaptations. So the first song is one that you should all probably be familiar with, which is King Midas, who touches things and turns to gold. In this version, he does a deed to Bacchus by giving a man hospitality, and Bacchus says, "I'll give you any wish." He says, "I'd like everything I touch to turn to gold," but he starts to starve because he can't eat. And after a while, he asks for this gift to be revoked. An interesting lesson on greed that I think we can all learn from, but also one that might seem more applicable than we think it is.
I lived my life as a selfless king, willing to give up everything. My door was open to any man who found himself alone without a plan. And I got lucky in offering my home. Bacchus gifted a wish from his lofty throne. Now I'm an honest man. When I see a chance, I take it, to have the golden touch and love it enough to create it. Greed has taken over me and blinded my foresight. What is demand when there's too much supply? Once my wish came true, I thought it'd all be grand. But I am alone with these golden hands. I touched a twig and it glistened in the sun. Is this a strange misfortune? Corn became a golden harvest. I'm approaching with caution, but I'm amazed, 'cause it's all turned to gold. But my hands can't feel any longer. I'm starving and hungry, 'cause I can't survive this cold. Wealth doesn't make me stronger. Does it make me foolish to wish for luxury? What would you pick if you were me? Who knew that greed would be so needy, taking all I need from me? Greed has taken over me and blinded my foresight. What is demand when there's too much supply? Once my wish came true, I thought it'd all be grand. But I am alone with these golden hands. And at the end of the day, I am alone, despite my golden throne. I'm an honest man, but that's not why I fell. So get me out of this cursed spell. I called out to Bacchus in desperation, waiting for his word to make me fall. Told me to wash away my foolish sin, and then the golden power will fall. But you'll be left with nothing at all. Greed has taken over me and blinded my foresight. What is demand when there's too much supply? Once my wish came true, I thought it'd all be grand. But I am alone in these forest lands.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds like everything's working well, so that's good. It's so awesome to scroll through your names. That's like my favorite part. Yeah, I loved writing that one. And Midas is a very, very fun character to play and to impersonate and to be close with. So the next piece is Diana and Actaeon. And Diana is a woodland goddess, and one of her main contingencies is virginity, and she's very into female strength and empowerment. And part of her life philosophy is that she remains a virgin and finds strength in that. And one day, Actaeon, a hunter, walks in the woods and sees her bathing. And Diana isn't really allowed to respond in any way except for punishment and crime, because this is against her belief. This is probably, out of all the myths, the one I took the most creative liberties with. I tried to imagine Diana as someone who, while her main idea is to have this virginity and to have that sacred oath, she must struggle with it sometimes and wonder what else is remaining in the world out there for her. So I tried to pose a bit of a hypothetical, as she's also banning him to show the women that she raises and shows that this isn't okay, but also in a way that shows her empathy for Actaeon. So I will do that. It starts off with Actaeon. And by the way, if you, everybody should have, in the email that was sent out, there should be access to the program. I'm not able to send it in the chat for some reason, but it seems like that has access. It has all the lyrics and synopses of each of the myths. So this is Diana and Actaeon.
See her in the crystal water there. Oh, I've never seen a girl so beautiful and bare. Goddess as she might be, she's lying on a rock in this world of uncertainty. Her and all her nymphs bathing there, teaching them her wisdom. She couldn't give a care about spontaneity, sudden love. This woodland goddess that came from above. Hunter at heart wandering, not expecting to see her, but I did nonetheless, and it's fate, I confess. And there he sat watching me there, a woman in her prime. It's not polite to stare, but he saw me with no uncertainty. He isn't quite the man I imagined he'd be. He can't live with that sight on his mind. It'll pollute his mortal timeline, and my women fill the woods with their cry. It's the right thing to say goodbye. And aren't I a false prophet, saying no man can see a woman's weakness if I don't say no to this? Hunter at heart wandering, not expecting him to see me, but he did nonetheless, and it's fate, I confess. So you have to go get on the road. Hate to say it now, but you've taken my crown, taken my power from me. No one was supposed to see my body, so turn into a stag, then you'll be the fearful foe. You've sealed your fate, and your dogs will hunt you down. Hunter at heart wandering, never intending to see me here, but he did nonetheless, and it's fate, I confess. Never meant to hurt her. It was just a sight. But she took it all from me that night. Then I saw my boys, my hounds all there. Didn't see me as a father. Betrayal is stronger than honor. Don't tear me away, you're tearing me apart. I think I made my fate. Curiosity takes the bait. Hunter at heart, wandering. I never wished to hurt him. In another life I'd have loved him, but I did nonetheless. And it's fate, I confess.
Yay! Awesome. Wow, that one's I love the duality between Diana and Actaeon there. The octave jumps worked really well in this key that I picked. So the next one is another one that is pretty familiar to many, but close to many as well, and misinterpreted, I think. Narcissus and Echo. Everyone knows narcissistic means to be vain or obsessed with oneself. In the Narcissus and Echo myth in Ovid, Echo mocks Juno, Jupiter's wife, or Zeus's wife, and her voice is taken away, and she's only able to speak reflections of what other people speak. And so Narcissus walks into the woods and calls for anyone, asking if anyone is there, and she replies, of course, because she can reply in Echo. So she comes out, and Narcissus she wraps her arms around him, and immediately he's repulsed and pushes her away. And this is one of the narrative moments that I evaluated a bit more, because it's not really clear why exactly he pushes her away, except for vanity or surprise, or it seems like a pretty malevolent act for not many reasons. Anyways, he's cursed by Nemesis to go to a pond and see his reflection, which is the story we all know, and falls in love, and he starts to starve, and at the end he's turned into the Narcissus flower. So this is Narcissus and Echo. I hope you'll hear the echoes throughout the song.
I used to be more than a voice. Oh, I used to have a body, but now I have no choice. I'm now nobody's somebody. Held you know in the tongue, more in tongue than in conversation. So Juno took my voice and made it only a reflection. So now I sing in echo, 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 echo. And there, and there, and there he goes, looking for anyone, just a youth of many a tongue, wandering around, hoping to find someone to love. Is anyone here? Here? Is anyone here? Is anyone here? Have you ever felt so alone before? Why does it feel like love isn't real anymore? I wanna find a sense of adventure. Here, let's meet together. Together. Arms encircling around me. This is but a dream, my darling. Away with these loving arms. I don't want you. I thought you were calling for me. Get your arms off of me, leaving me be. I am more than you'll ever be. Now you are an echo, 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 echo. Echo your shame to the leaves. I'm just a boy, learning to love, wandering for water. I feel so thirsty, but I discovered a new thirst the minute I saw the reflection, the boy who looked back at me. We had a connection, a man made out of marble. His eyes beckoned me to marvel. Have you ever felt so alone before? I poured all my love onto the floor. I wanna find a sense of adventure here. Let's meet together. I never thought my dream would come true, to love someone, even if they live in the blue. So bring your hands to mine, bring your lips to mine. But every time I reach my hands out to him, his image fades away. Unrequited love, a new kind of pain. I'm burning with love for myself, and I move and bear the flames. I want what I have, but my lover and I share a name. My tears stirred the water, and my lover rippled away. Where do you fly to? Don't abandon the one who loves you. Hunger couldn't take me from you. I'll waste away all my life. You seem a little pale, but that's alright. I'll die by my own side. Alas, all in vain. Alas, all in vain.
Yeah. That's I love that one. I love the way I can use like the whole guitar for the octave jumps. I think it's really powerful, and it's a song I really feel confident about in that sense. This next one is very special to me. This is a song that I read the Latin for with Mrs. Morris, thank you. Callisto and Jupiter. This myth, Jupiter, after Phaethon scorches the earth, which we'll get to later, Jupiter comes down and sees Callisto, a maiden of Diana. So again, she's pledged her virginity. And Jupiter rapes her. And it's after she's put down her bow and arrow, presumably to rest or as some sort of symbolic meaning. Anyways, 9 months later, she's bathing with Diana and everyone, and they see her pregnant, and Diana disowns her and kicks her out of the group. And to be isolated for a sin that isn't yours was something that struck me, and it's a myth that's captured in many modern interpretations, but it's a really powerful story. Anyways, so once her child Arcus is born, Juno, who's the wife of Jupiter, can't actually punish Jupiter for any of his crimes because of his power. So she actually punishes Callisto by turning her into a bear. But one of the narrative moments that I found really fascinating was she was still afraid of the other bears around her. She was still like human on the inside and aware of the others around her. So Arcus runs into her many years later after he's, I think, 15, 16, and throws a spear at her because she's a bear. And right before that happens, Jupiter stops the spear and sends them both up to the heavens as the Great and Little Bear constellations. This was really fun because I got to play with an evil Jupiter, but also one who was desperate. He came down disguised as Diana to Callisto, so it's obvious he couldn't have come down in his actual form. So this is a good one.
A maiden who had a precious gift. In the woods as her home, she dared to live. Wasn't long until I felt it in my skull. A new sense of power taking hold. And it wasn't because of her. It was burning in the marrow of my bones. Cupid's arrow was hit again in my head. I wanted to see her, but I knew she would want to see me. Jupiter, you cruel man, they call me. But as long as I am king, you'll obey me. maybe if I dressed like the woman she'd want to impress, she'd feel a little more easygoing, a little friendly to a poor man like me. There I saw Goddess Diana, didn't know what to tell her. I've waited to see you so long. Greater than Jupiter, oh, I'd do anything you prefer. She didn't take very kindly to that, ridden with jealousy, and I knew that it wasn't her, but it was too late. He took me away. I had dropped my bow and arrow, frustrated and fed up with modesty, but I didn't mean it so honestly. He forced himself onto me. If only you could see how I tried to push him away. But who's a girl when she's against Jove? Shame poured crimson-colored tint into my cheeks. His crime still haunts me. He left it to the skies, and I was left to cry. A maiden who had lost her only gift. The woods, once a home, knew his sin, and Diana came, and at first I thought it him, but it was her, a woman who would never forgive, a girl who once was stolen, a soul once so golden. I felt shame sleeping, kept my eyes glued to the ground, but I was alone, knowing guilt had no way of showing. 9 moons had passed, Diana had called us to bay. Everybody's body was their home, but these woods were not my home. My face was red, bloodied by my burden, my skin bare for all to see. What a mess he had made of me. My swollen wound was as clear as the water. Diana said, "You are no longer my daughter." A maiden who had lost her only gift. The woods, once a home, knew his sin. Cruel king, oh, he took my life from me, and his crime still haunts me. And Juno saw my child, Arcus in the flesh. She couldn't punish Jupiter, but I was second best. I reached my arms out for mercy, but they turned into claws. I became a bear with gaping jaws, fearful of my kind. I'm still human on the inside. Arcus, is that you? All these years have passed so slowly. Trust me, it's just me. Please don't hurt me. Don't tear me away. You're tearing me apart. I think I made my fate. Curiosity takes the bait. Jupiter pulled him back and send us up to the heavens. The great and little bear, did he learn to care? A maiden who had lost her only gift. The woods, once a home, knew his sin. Cruel king, oh, he took my life from me, and his crime still haunts me.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. I was playing around because of this anthology. I got to use the same stanza in Diana and Actaeon when his hounds were eating him as the same as when Arcus was about to kill Diana. Arcus was about to kill Callisto. There's a cool duality there. Now for a more upbeat song. The next is Phaethon, who is a caricature I'm sure that we can all relate to as Exonians, as dangerously ambitious. Phaethon is the sun's son, and he wants proof of his heritage, so he asks the sun to borrow his chariot. Obviously, the sun's like, you're a kid, this is stupid, but he insists, and eventually he hands it over, and Phaethon takes this chariot, which is very powerful and hot, as it's the sun's, and scorches the earth, and is totally out of control, but really believes in his own ability, and it's interesting. I love this one. So it's a very reckless character.
Oh, in your palace I ask you, Father, is there anything that you can do to prove to me that this is my honor, to prove that I'm worth gold to you? Am I the sun's son, or am I just someone? Can I borrow your golden chariot? I'm sure you've had a lifetime of it. I want to see what it looks like from up there, and finally a breath of fresh air. Hand me the golden reins, let me steer these wheels. I'm stronger than they say, and luck has all the appeal. He tells me that it wouldn't be safe. His warning won't change my plans anyway. He tells me that his worry could alleviate worry, that it's proof enough. But he gave me the reins of all the horses and the chariot of golden spokes. He asked me, oh, how will you go against the sky? I tell him I've got will and courage on my side. But suddenly I was terrified, all in the hands of a mortal. The horses started to go faster, and I started falling behind, and my knees quaked with fear. I was blinded by the light ahead of me. I stopped trying to steer. I knew the sun would be the last thing I'd see. I'm not the wise son he hoped I'd be. Oh, youthful courage, be the death of me. Hand me the golden reins, let me steer these wheels. I'm stronger than they say, and luck has all the appeal. See the whole world on fire from my hands. See the ocean on fire from my hands. Didn't think a young boy could ever hurt this much. Didn't think mistakes could leave my clutch. So strike me down, I'm gone. Take me out, I'm lost. I have lost, you've won. So take my life as the cost. Here Phaethon lies, who the sun's journey made, dared although he by weakness was betrayed.
That last stanza is the epitaph of his grave. I stole that. That's not my lines. Those are great. Much better writer came up with that. Auden. Yes, so I love that one. I also think it's so cool that image of gold in the classical literature between Midas and Phaethon, and this sense of greed but also desire. It's really wonderful. So next is Apollo and Daphne, which is the first song I wrote. I wrote this one in the fall, and it's it's an interesting myth. It was kind of my introduction and my perception of what Metamorphoses was. So Apollo, god of music, comes down and insults Cupid. I can't exactly remember why. Something about him using tools that weren't fit for him. Anyways, gotta get revenge. So Cupid is like, I'm gonna strike you with a golden arrow, which is gonna make you fall in love with this nymph named Daphne, but I'm gonna strike her with, I think it's a lead or silver arrow, that's gonna make her hate you. So there's this duality of intense passion and intense hate. And not only that, but Daphne has no plans of getting in a relationship whatsoever. So it's all the odds against Apollo. And at the end, she has this connection with her father throughout. And at the end, she calls out to her father, and he turns her into a laurel tree. And now Apollo wears laurel, and to show her his love. Yes. Cool. It starts off with Apollo, and then Cupid, and then back to Apollo.
Cupid, you stupid young man, or should I say a boy? Why use the weapons of a god when you play with toys? Fool Apollo, I assure you gold will soon strike your heart. Take an arrow to the chest, tear your pride apart. The boy struck me with an arrow, laced with loomings of lust. The girl's hair tied up with lace, to Daphne I give my trust. Oh, Daphne, the most beautiful girl I've seen, I'll be the king to your queen. Spend my whole life careless of love, careless of looks, loving only myself. I spend my days hiding away, I don't want to love anyone else. My father told me, darling, it's never as it seems. Your beauty's made to be loved, but I'll hide my beauty for my freedom when push comes to shove. Apollo, the most pitiful man I've seen, you'll never be the king to my queen. I want to show her what she hides. The sight alone cannot satisfy. It's always more beautiful on the inside. She runs against the will of my eyes, and the sheep flees from the wolf, the deer from the mountain lion. She runs faster, but I go further, and if she told me she loved me, she'd be lying. The dove flies from the eagle, but my love don't flee from me. I am a wolf with love as its prey. How can you be so blind to see? My hair turned to leaves, my feet into roots. My father heard my cries, but I had so much to lose. Apollo, the most pitiful man I've seen, you are the king to my queen now. Take my laurel and turn it into a wreath, then will you find your peace?
Cool. Yeah, I love that one too. I love all of them. That's why I did this. So next up is Venus and Adonis. Wow. Hang on. So Wow. Okay, so Venus is the goddess of love, Aphrodite in Greek myth, if people are more familiar with Percy Jackson terminology. And she basically, this guy named Actaeon, and his parents were arranged by Venus. So she has some involvement in his family's backstory, but once he's older, Venus is like, wow, you are incredible, I am in love with you. And it's actually interesting, like, Venus doesn't have very many mortal god relations as compared to other gods, and it's interesting. I love to examine, like, the god of a certain element within their element, right? So Venus being in love is a very interesting thing to examine. So within this myth, they're running in the woods and having their, lover time, and Venus is like, by the way, just, like, don't run into, like, dangerous beasts or, like, predators or in the woods or lions specifically. And he's like, why? And so she tells the story of Atalanta and Epaminondas. And a choice I had to make in this myth was to greatly condense that myth. Atalanta and Epaminondas is a wonderful myth. I highly recommend you read it. It's where Atalanta is fast, and in order for someone to wed her, they have to be able to catch up with her. So Venus, gives Hippomenes 3 golden apples, and so it slows her down because he throws the golden apples along the way, and they end up being together, but they forget to thank Venus. So she's frustrated because they never thanked her, so she turns them into lions. And at the end of the story, Adonis does not heed her advice, and as myths end, they do. Cool. The sense of this one is kind of a lullaby.
When he was a child, I held him in my hands, gave a home he deserved, got my meddling out of his plans. Diana would raise him into a man, but now that the years have gone by, you look like a real man in front of me. Think it's the goddess of love's turn to love. It might be the arrow, but I think I love you. I pick you over heaven, 'cause I've seen the skies. But there is so much left to explore in your hunter's eyes. All the creatures that live here, I live in fear they don't want me here. Why can't you deal with your own weakness? Oh, my lover, I won't hesitate, but you've got to tell me why it's those creatures you hate. Once upon a time, there was a lover who wanted a woman so much. She ran and was the fastest of the bunch. So I helped him along with a lover's song, gave him 3 golden apples along the way. Vanity will always stay. But at the end of all of this, after all my trials and tribulations, no one thought to thank the Queen of Love. Don't you ever feel like I'm a little lonely to see everyone fall in love? To watch the life I've always wanted from above. So my temper got the best of me, found forgetfulness hard to believe, so I turned them into lions. But now that the years have gone by, you look like a real man in front of me. Since the world has shined light upon you, it might be the arrow, but I think I love you. You must avoid them, my love, all species of wild beasts, 'cause they don't turn and run when they see a chance to feast. Oh, darling, I'm so thrilled. Love's never mutual for me, but myths never end with happy endings. I was alone for only a minute to go out hunting, and a boar stared me down in a moment of reckoning. Thought I could be brave for her, tear down her fear. I tried to run. I promise my love I tried.
Yeah. I love that one. I think it's so fascinating to see like Venus's jealousy and her lack of gratitude and how that frustrates her, and then to lose it all by that vice is really an interesting element in this myth. Wow, we're getting to the end, which is crazy. I've spent so much time on this project, and I really want to thank all of Exeter, of course, for instilling that joy and magic in me, and of course to all the advisors of this project and everybody who's helped along the way, and of course to my mom, who's been my audience, which is incredible and irreplaceable. The next one is my favorite. So Circe, Scylla, and Glaucus. The original name of this myth, I think it's usually referred to as Circe and Scylla, but I think Glaucus has an interesting storyline here that I wanted to highlight. The basic gist of it is that Glaucus, once a mortal, became a sea god, and he liked Scylla, and so he confesses his love, but Scylla's like, no, you're like a sea god, you look repulsive, you're a fish. So he goes to Circe, the witch of the classical world, and says, look, I need this potion to help, or I need herbs or some poison to help her fall in love with me. And turns out Circe is in love with Glaucus. So she confesses her love, and turns out Glaucus is like, no, I'm here for Scylla. I'm not going to fall in love with you. So Circe, enraged, poisons Scylla. And yeah, it's a heartbreaking myth, and I feel bad for both Glaucus and Circe and Scylla. It's a great example of the character traits portrayed in these stories. Starts off with Glaucus.
I wanted to say anything to keep her from running, but she ran from so far away. From a distance, she couldn't tell if I was a man. I am no wild creature, but I am a god of the sea. I was mortal once, but destined for the deep. Just listen to my story. I was the first to sit on this beach where no bees had ever roamed. And on the grass I'd dry out the fish I'd caught, but they swam back to their home. What herb has such power to reverse suffering? A new chance of life, a new chance to see what I can make of me. So I ate some of my own, felt my heart tremble inside me. I leaped into the water. Gods thought me worthy of their company. But what use is it to be a god if these things don't compel you? Oh, I'd do anything for your love, but I know you won't ever feel it too. I don't know what to say. I just can't see you being like me. Yes, once mortal, but now it's clear you're a fish of the sea. Am I cruel to reject love when love just looks like you? It's not what they wrote about in picture books. A man living in the blue. So off to the witch, the daughter of the sun, known for transformations. No one knows better than I what her charms can do to a guy. But all I ask is you don't cure me of my pain. It's all I have of her. My love cannot end. Just let her feel what I feel for her. You'll be better off chasing someone who wishes they were yours. She's cruel and she won't love you like you should be loved. But I know someone who does. I cherished you when you scared away the world. When you fell into the palm of my hand, I can be the best for you. Oh, I would do anything if you would be my man. But you're not the right girl, because this love I have will last until the trees grow on the ocean floor. Seaweed will grow on the shore. But what use is it to be a witch if these things don't compel you? Oh, I'd do anything for your love, but I know you won't ever feel it too. All I feel is rage. Is this my coming of age? I have to show him the monster she is, and then he might forgive. What herb has such power to incite suffering? A new chance of life, a new chance to see what I can make him believe. So I poisoned the water with the herbs Glaucus had asked me to bring. Except they were meant to start her suffering. She stands among raging dogs, encircled by beasts. Below the surface, where I finally destroyed her peace. My lover, what has she done to you? The cruel witch that she is. Ruined my life twice, but never had to pay the price, unless I am the price. But what use is it to be a witch if nothing will compel you? Oh, I'll do anything for your love, but I know you won't ever feel it too.
Yeah. I love that one. It's certainly like seeing the duality between Circe and also Glaucus. It's really, I love that myth so much. So my last one, is that right? Yeah, I didn't miss any. Is Minerva and Arachne, which I really underestimated. I knew the myth before. Minerva and Arachne. Arachne's weaving, and she claims that she can weave better than anyone, even Minerva. And of course, Minerva comes down disguised as an old woman, and she's like, "Are you sure?" And Arachne's like, "Yes." And then, she transforms, and they have they weave side by side in a crowd, and you see the different intricacies of their tapestry. One being Minerva idealizing the gods and showing man's crime against gods, while Arachne's is showing God's crime against man. And I decided to put the song last because I think it makes a lot more sense after you've heard both the interaction from both sides, and why Arachne is so frustrated, and what one can call hubris and quite the ambition of Phaethon is in a way justified. This is the most difficult song for me to learn, so this was definitely a learning curve of guitar, which is always a good thing to be focusing on. And again, thank you everyone for this incredible everything. Yeah.
I've been weaving my whole life, built my skill with strife. Grander than Minerva, she envied me apparently. You can't compare yourself to gods, an old woman told me. If Minerva believed otherwise, she'd come down and tell me. 'Cause I've got enough wisdom for me. And there she was, Minerva, shimmering with skin of porcelain, and I had something to prove. And you bet I wasn't going to lose. We weave side by side with lasting threads of gold. An ancient tale is spun in the web as I unravel the myth. She weaved Mount Olympus with Jupiter at the center, and in each corner she showed man's fatal hubris. But the gods seem to take something for everything they claim to give. Oh, an ancient tale is spun in the web as I unravel the myth. And in the end she signed off with olive wreaths of peace, and the crowd marveled around emblems of her own tree, trying to take power from me. But I weave Jupiter's the cruel king he was, and I showed the woman he stole to make a case for his cause. I show the fate of immortals whom the gods seem to use. Immoral deeds of royalty, gods can be evil too. You might call it youthful courage or an act of defiance, but I was tired of being called the villain after all of this violence. But the gods seem to take something for everything they claim to give. Oh, an ancient tale is spun in my web as I unravel the myth. I was shocked, to say the least, as her tapestry appeared to the crowd, 'cause I am goddess Minerva, and envy got the best of my crown. I tore apart her tapestry because of what it made of me, a useless goddess, preaching lies, hiding under a disguise. My rage was too much to take, and she took her own life. But I knew that was too easy for someone who took mine with such strife. She was better at me at my own craft. What does that make of my skill? But then I made her better than the rest, all in exchange for silk. But the gods seem to take something for everything they claim to give. Oh, an ancient tale is spun in the web as I unravel the myth. My children will come with as I turn my curse into a gift.
That's it. That's the end. Wow. I'm so happy that everybody who's here is here, and genuinely, thank you for coming. It's such a joy to see all of your names, and again, thank you to the Classics and Music Department. I can't explain how much support this required, and I was able to get, and that's all I have to say. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. It's so amazing to see all of your names. Oh, thank you so much, everybody. So sweet. Oh. Yes, I'm excited to get we're getting our wreaths in the mail for graduation, so I'll present my photo proudly. It will be a moment of great pride for me, so thank you. Yeah.